All right, on finding the domain and range of a rational function, that is dependent upon what the vertical asymptote and the horizontal asymptote is. The vertical asymptote restricts that domain. For instance, in this particular problem, the vertical asymptote is x equal negative 6. Therefore, that means that x cannot equal negative 6 in the domain. When x is negative 6, notice what would happen. On the bottom, you would have negative 6 plus 6, which would give you 0, and we know that we cannot divide by 0. The horizontal asymptote in this particular problem, since it is shifted down 3, is y is equal to negative 3. That means the range could not equal negative 3. In order to write this as a correct notation, since the vertical asymptote x equal negative 6 means that your domain cannot equal negative 6, I would write my domain as negative infinity to negative 6 union negative 6 to infinity. And what this means is that it includes all numbers except for negative 6. The horizontal asymptote, being y equal negative 3, means that your range, y cannot equal negative 3. And to get your range, it is written in the same format as your domain. It is going to be from negative infinity to negative 3 union negative 3 to infinity. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to find that vertical asymptote and horizontal asymptote. All right, on this next example, we're going to treat it exactly the same way. We're going to find the vertical asymptote. The vertical asymptote is x minus 2 is equal to 0. And we are going to solve that to find that it is at x equal 2. That means in our domain, x cannot be equal to 2, and our domain is written as negative infinity to 2 union 2 to infinity. The horizontal asymptote of this rational equation is 4, since it was moved up 4. That means the range, y cannot equal 4, and it is written in the same format as the domain, negative infinity to 4 union 4 to infinity.